Here's the answer for question 2 on worksheet 2. So the claim is that less than half of the Canterbury residents have confidence that commercial buildings meet the code and are safe to occupy. So that's going from table A. So what we're interested in is we're talking about the Canterbury residents. So we're just interested in these Canterbury residents, of which there are 75. And they're talking about having confidence that commercial buildings, so we're looking at those commercial buildings. So what we're really interested in is that 44%. And from Canterbury, there's only 75 of them, so that sample size is 75. All right, and that's our percentage that we're comparing is that 44%. So that's the claim that we are going to investigate. Okay, so we've got to again look at our table, and we're dealing with just looking at Canterbury and just looking at that commercial buildings. So we're not doing a comparison. So we are in that first section there, no comparison, one group. So we've got our sample size is 75. And so now we want to go and find our margin of error, which is 1 over the square root of n. So that's our first step, is our margin of error is 1 over the square root of n1. So that's 1 over the square root of 75. Put that into our calculator, and we're going to get a value of 0.1155, which if I multiply that by 100 to get it into percentage is 11.55%. Okay, so that's our first step. Got our margin of error. Now we need to go and find that confidence interval. So we're doing our percentage plus or minus the margin of error. All right, so let's write down our formula. So confidence interval equals the percentage plus or minus my margin of error. So in this case, our percentage, if we go back to the data, our percentage is 44%. So we've got 44% plus or minus that margin of error, which is 11.55%. So I'm going to do my confidence interval, 44 minus 11.55 and 44 plus 11.55. And that gives me a value of 32.45% and 55.55%. So in terms of my confidence interval, we're going, so think about your number line, we're going from 32.45 up to 55.55, and that's our confidence interval. So what does this mean? Well, let's go back to the data. So this is talking about what percentage of Canterbury residents have confidence that commercial buildings meet the code. Okay, so I'm going to interpret this and say between 32.45% and 55.55% of all Canterbury residents. That's the word I was looking for. All Canterbury residents, because we're talking about from the population. This is estimating for the population of all Canterbury residents. Between this much and this of all Canterbury feel that commercial buildings meet the code and are safe to occupy. Okay, so that's the first part, is interpreting the confidence interval. Now I need to test the claim. So I'm looking to see, does that confidence interval capture the claim? Okay, so let's have a look. And the claim is that less than half of the residents. So let's look at our confidence interval here and think half. Well, half is 50%. So 50% is probably about there. So the claim is that less than half. Now, I can't agree with this claim because our confidence interval includes 50% and in fact goes slightly above that. All right, so I actually disagree with this claim. So I disagree with the claim because the confidence interval includes 50%. And there's our answer.